start with this. So my basic hello everyone. Hello everyone, respected speakers, guests, and my fellow party members. Today we are here to commemorate the 1991 reforms, and basically my address will try to answer 4 questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Who are we? Why am I here? So myself Tushar, and I'm the founding member of the Libertarian Party. And describing myself, I'm just a curious person who has a lot of hobbies and likes to solve problems and isn't interested in asking for people's permission to fix problems. So with this mindset, I figured out that we have a lot of problems in India, a lot of interconnected problems that don't have any one solution. So that led me to explore my curiosity and find out what's the cause of all this problem. Why is the system such a mess? So digging down and down. Like I have a background in humanities, but I was always a student of business and complex dynamic systems.
Sorry guys, thank you.
So yeah, so complex. Yeah, so complex systems don't have a unique problem, and there are second order effects. Like in economics, most of our economics is about where the economists are interested just in the first order effects. And when second order effects start thinking, like giving a simple example, like the Britishers started a scheme where they wanted to get rid of snakes, so they asked for snake tails, but it created a snake breeding industry. So these are the second order effects that are created due to stupid policies. So the problems of India lie in the fundamental problem of India is the belief that any problem comes up, the government has to solve it. So and this difference between seeing state as a mechanism for solving the problems of the people versus individuals, free actors, private entrepreneurship, and free enterprise, versus seeing that as a mechanism of solving people's problems. So these are the basic 2 dynamics that are playing in India. And let's start with who we are. So basically we all identify as libertarians. Libertarianism is the belief in individual rights, his individual rights and his property. And no one can be coerced against his will to do something. The condition being that he doesn't impede on the rights of others. So this is basically libertarianism. Like we shouldn't be confused with liberals who believe in individual liberty but not in the right of property, nor with trads who believe in the right of property but don't believe that in individual liberty and that individual has to comply with the traditions of the society. Broadly speaking, these is the dichotomy that we have. Now, why are we here? So here we are today celebrating the 1991 reforms that started in July 24th, 1991. And going back to the history, like 1947 we get independence. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Can you play the first one? Yeah. So Pandit Jawaharlal.
I often say to myself, suppose that Vallabhbhai had been the young man and Nehru had been the older man, and Vallabhbhai would have become the Prime Minister of India. Certainly in the economic plan, there would have been a totally different situation than the one that exists today.
You frequently disagreed with Pandit Nehru when you articulated or shared what was his response?
I tried. He liked me, I loved him, admired him. But when you, on this kind of thing, economics, of which he knew very little, in my opinion, and certainly on socialism and how socialism could be established without the loss of economic freedom for the majority of the people. Anyway, careful what I say. Repeat your question.
When you spoke to Jawaharlal Nehru and
Yes.
articulated your disagreements with his economic policies, what was his
It was
reaction?
very simple. No, I tell you what his reaction was. I thought I'd mentioned somewhere. I'd go and see. Sometimes he'd invite me even to have a meal in to see the giant panda that he had, you know. And then I would try to bring the conversation to economics, nationalization, bureaucracy. He was not only not interested, but he wasn't willing even to talk. And he had invented a little trick. Was that when I started, we sat fairly near each other, and there was a window not too far. The moment I began to read it, he turned around and looked out of the window. And I got the message.
Yeah, so this is basically this is how the problem started at the foundation of the modern republic. We had a Fabian socialist leader who wanted state economy. The logic was given that since there is a capital crunch, heavy industries will be handled by the government to supplement, and the small entrepreneurs will take care of the light industries. And eventually, when there will be sufficient capital, state will back off. So that was the first plan. Our first prime minister was inspired by the rapid development, so-called rapid development that had been shown by the Soviet Union. So this is where the modern republic started, and due to geopolitical circumstances, we got closer and closer to the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union got its fangs inside our government, and the system emerged called the license Raj. The Britishers, if go a little bit back as well, the Britishers used to have heavy import licenses and heavy duties for Indian businesses as compared to British businesses. So this way they tampered down Indian entrepreneurship. But when the Republic got independent, political freedom definitely came in the form of voting rights, but economic freedom didn't come. And as a result, the British Raj was replaced by the license Raj. And by each successive government, the controls got tighter and tighter until 1980s, where it was realized that the system isn't working, and they started with import substitution. But import substitution resulted in that we basically had to buy a lot of foreign goods with the capital we didn't have. As a result, by 1990s, we had a balance of payment crisis. The country was 3 weeks from bankruptcy, and we had to even pawn off our loan, and it was a huge international shame of the nation. So that was the crisis we were dealing with, and as usual, whatever you say about the Indian Republic, it gets its act together when its back is against the wall. So 1991, it was decided under the leadership of Prime Minister Narasimha Rao that we started the liberalization, privatization, globalization reforms. That time Finance Minister was Mohan Singh. He initiated the bill in the Parliament, and then we finally an economy that was growing. Next slide.
Often taken.
Yeah. So as you can see here, like 1950 to 1990s, we have very minimal economic growth. But specifically at this point, this is after post 1991 was the real inflection point where the economy grew steadily at 6.5%, something like that. So basically it means that every 10 years the economic size doubles, and since compound interest acts in a different way. So the GDP, that's the per capita GDP of $280 in 1991 has been converted to $2,800 in the year 2025. So yes, illustrating my point. This is Mumbai in 2003, and this is Mumbai in 2023. So this is what illegal free markets can do to an economy. If you compare this image of 2003 versus the image of 1980, it will look really similar. But as markets opened up, regulations were eased up, this is what modern Mumbai looks like. And still, it hasn't peaked yet. It is just the start. Okay. So we have a lot of crises going on. We have a lot of serious crises going on in the country. We are not that advanced in tech. AI war is going on. We don't have chips. like we design chips, but we don't make them here. We have a huge demographic dividend, and since we have an industrialized, 65% of our population, working population, is still in agriculture, and a modern nation with a high per capita GDP cannot have such a huge percentage of workforce working in agriculture. So we need to industrialize. 1991, the biggest mistake that happened was bits were deregulated, but atoms were not, and as a result, we still right now as well. Industry only contributes only 15 to 20% of the economy, depending on the estimates. What we as libertarians are here to promote is that the need of the hour is to deregulate atoms as well and bring out the LPG 2.0 or 1991 2.0. And otherwise, if we miss the demographic window, then we have no chance of ever catching up with the rest of the world. But still, there is the situation is grim, but I am pretty optimistic since we have done it time and time again. When there was the grain crisis, when there was a war, every time Indian Republic has got its act together when there is a crisis, and we have pulled through. So this time we'll do it as well, and we have evidence that enthusiasts of free markets are bit segregated, but the motive of the movement is to get them organized, and let's push for a free market and let entrepreneurs contribute to the national development as well. So last year we started with 0, and right now we stand at 16K. Yeah, this is the number of impressions that we have in just 1 year. 1 crore impressions in 1 year is not that bad for a start. I know it is just our Twitter impression, not counting our Instagram impressions that are almost near to these as well. Yeah, so this is from May. The government announced that we'll be introducing caste census, and we were the come at the moment. So we were the only one who was saying that this is terrible for the country and this shouldn't exist. And all these guys were supporting and trying to take credit that we have introduced the caste census, and our representative Ajay Sir was the only one who was saying that no, this is just divide and rule, and this will be destructive of the country. So it was amazing to see that in 1 year we have been able to come on national media. Yeah. So this one is the let's say that entry into the mainstream media. The print asked for cover story. It's a deep dive in our main members and what all ideas we stand for and what all are our objectives. So this is what we have done in 1 year, which is ample evidence that there is potential and people are interested for free market ideas and learning about the movement. And all of you are evidence of that as well. Yeah. So this was from the summit that we had in Gurgaon. You can see there are around 30 people here, and at that time our following was somewhere around 4,000. But now we have quadrupled the numbers to 16,000. Last night only we achieved 16,000. So the movement is going really quickly, and I think that at this rate, we'll be a free market enthusiast will be a prominent voice in the mainstream media. We didn't have any voice, we didn't have any platform to express our ideas. We knew that free markets work, but we just talk in our own echo chambers. But the objective of the party is to create a platform for everyone and all the enthusiasts who are interested in promoting the ideas of free markets and entrepreneurship for growth of the country. So, and I am pretty optimistic about it. Just show it here. Just show it. Yes. So
इसका कितना पड़ गया बनाने में? 12 लाख। सुनते हैं बांस बहुत ज्यादा लगा, कितना बांस लग गया? 3800 बांस लग गया। टिकट का क्या है? 20 जाने। तो खर्च जो है इसका कितना पड़ गया बनाने में? 12 लाख।
Yeah, so this is a village in Bihar, and this man was able to build a bridge just for 12 lakhs, for which like it is inconceivable that a bridge can be built for so cheap. So this shows that we have a whole lot of private entrepreneurship in the country, which has been trampled down by the so-called state bureaucracy. And the objective of libertarians is to let people participate in the economy and not let bureaucrats decide what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. And thank you all for coming. And I think we all are a part of the history, and libertarian India is enduring. Thank you.